What happens to Tory Lanez's total acquittal? Two main things. One, the defense team thought that Kelsey, the prosecution's star witness, was going to stay mute on everything, take the fifth, and therefore provide minimal evidence. And two, they had a star witness who was going to say that he saw two girls fighting, including one who may have shot the gun, and a shorter man break up the fight. Neither of those waves broke the way the defense needed for Tory Lanez to win his charges. Aloha, my name is Marcus Landsberg. I've been a criminal defense attorney for close to 20 years. I'm on sabbatical right now, but either way, you cannot hire me for your employment law cases. Let's start by talking about the Tory Lanez actually thought when the trial started. I would bet money that the defense had a better understanding that the prosecution, that Kelsey was going to do everything she could to not testify or to testify to as little as possible. I don't think they thought Kelsey was going to fall on her sword and take responsibility when she got immunity. I think that's wishing for too much, but I'm certain they knew that she was not happy with Meg and that she was going to, at a minimum, obfuscate and not tell a story that painted Tory in a positive light. When a judge allowed the recorded statement from September, that was made in the prosecutor's office in as substantive evidence. That was the first huge flip in the trial that was a gift to the prosecution. That statement had all the information they needed to make their case. And once it came in, Kelsey's basically uncrossable because she already testified she doesn't remember much currently. So defense at that point was on their hind legs. The second big ball drop was when the defense had promised a star witness in their opening, who was an uninvested neighbor, unbiased to either side, who simply happened to be looking out his window upon hearing the commotion. What Sean Kelly, this neighbor, was going to add depends on which blog site you're reading. It was reported differently on different sites by different reporters. But it was either going to exonerate Tory or was going to incriminate Kelsey instead, depending on which degree you thought based on the reporting. Now, I don't know to what degree Kelly cooperated with the prosecutors earlier, but he clearly corroborated the prosecutor's case. He clearly said what he saw included a shorter man fire into the air for 5 times. He said he saw a muzzle flash, but you can't have a muzzle flash without a gun. So there's a pretty obvious connection. The important parts of Meg's story and the important parts of Kelsey's September statement line up with what Sean Kelly says. As far as the fire into the air goes, depending on who you follow with the trial, it doesn't sound as though he reported that he was shooting it straight up in the air like a warning shot. It sounded as though he was shooting all around, or he meant the difference. One reporter said he meant the difference between shooting a point-blank assassination to the back of the head versus shooting in the air, leaving that you're not right in front of the target. Like you always have to shoot in the air. But remember, the interesting about this case is that we are not in court. We're reading blogs or tweets from people interpreting what they say. And as we have a different seat than a juror, this is part of why there's such a gulf of misunderstanding in this case. Who you're getting your news from, and more importantly, how much they understand when they're in the court watching and hearing what the jury hears, what the jury will take in, especially if they don't know or are familiar with what the jury instructions these judges may give towards the close of the case during closing argument. So, to help people discuss a case like this intelligently, let me give you an overview of how an experienced defense attorney would assess this case. There was a lot of talk about all sorts of conspiracies, but how you assess is by, number one, what are the elements of the charge? What does a prosecutor need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt? Number two, what facts are unassailable? What cannot be denied? Number three, what other factual accusations are going to be made? And then number four, what competing facts will there be that I can get a jury to believe or my opponent will ask a jury to believe? I'm going to gloss over the elements for now for this video because close textual analysis is actually very complicated. And I want to do this a little bit more in generalities. I want this to be able to cover lots of different issues so you can discuss it intelligently. If you do want a video about close textual analysis, we can do that. It's fun for me. I don't know if it's fun for everyone else, but we can do that. Just ask me in the comments down below, and I'm more than happy to talk about it if you want to. What can't we change? What are the facts that are beyond question in this case? Number one, there's a foot surgeon who took bullets out of the foot of Megan Thee Stallion. Those bullets got in there somehow. There's no evidence he's lying. There's no suggestion that he's lying. So there's bullets. Where are we? There's bullets in Megan at the time the police arrive. If there's bullets, it's reasonable to believe that there's gunfire. If there's gunfire, there's a shooter. There's audio of 5 gunshots. Bullet casings are later found. There's 4 people in the car. 2 test positive for gunfire residue on the hands. A third is shot, and the 4th person is clean of gunfire residue. Remember about the gunfire residue, DNA and fingerprints in general. If it's there, you have to deal with it. But if it's not there, it doesn't exonerate a person. It doesn't have to be there. Often it's not. Here, 2 people do have it, so we deal with the issue. But that's not a guarantee that either of those people shot the individual person or shot a gun ever. There's other ways to get it there, but we still have to discuss it and address it to talk about the case intelligently. Now, even with all these facts we've discussed that cannot get around, we could still have an accident. We could have self-defense. The bullet could be self-inflicted. It could be a stranger who did this. There's any number of things. So it's not a done deal that because there's a shot, and because if there's a shot, someone's a shooter, means that we know a particular person shot or someone has to go to jail, someone has to be convicted. But in trying this case, Tory Lanez needed some type of break, some sort of thing to go his way. And unfortunately, he got nothing throughout this case. Now, this is how I believe a jury or another attorney would break down this case. What happens? The factualization, here are the factualizations that come in. The factual accusations that come in. Megan Thee Stallion says Tory Lanez shot her. Kelsey says in court that she didn't see Tory shoot, but was adamant that she, Kelsey, never shot the gun. The September statement that came in made very clearly that Tory is the shooter. The text from Kelsey also pegged Tory as the shooter. Then, defense eyewitness Sean Kelly, who's been promised that what he's going to say is going to say that Tory is not the shooter, that it was Kelsey who shot. He's looking from his apartment and not invested in this argument. We already discussed what he said, but he said that he believed the female, not Meg, but Kelsey, that there was one muzzle flash near her hand. But then he said 4 or 5 muzzle flashes near the hand of the other person. The shorter guy was the way that he described Tory Lanez. Now, this is where it gets tricky, and this is where we ask jurors to use their reason and common sense. We don't expect that stories match up 100%. Of course they don't. Think about when you have 2 friends who broke up with each other and one doesn't tell the same story the way it went down, the way the other person told the story. They're still broken up, so it happened. But we don't always know exactly what the basis is or how it processed. You know what? Let me give you a better one. Think about if you have 4 friends who went to a nightclub on Friday night and they all had a good time and they all tell you a story that has some overlap. They were all at the club. They all got drunk. One guy danced with a girl, but there's a difference. For example, maybe he says he approached the girl and he was very cool with what he did. But the other guys talk about all the mistakes, all the goofball moves he made, how he was a horrible dancer, for example. Now, it's not uncommon for stories to mismatch like that, but we could still not say that he didn't approach this girl. We're still not going to say that he didn't talk to her. And if he has digits on a piece of paper, we may not disagree that whatever his technique was worked. But, and this is the interesting part, are we more likely to believe that whatever he did was cool because we do have this tangible evidence of a phone number on the paper? Or are we still going to believe the friends who said, no, he was goofy? He says, look, but I got the number. It must have worked. That's what we ask juries to do, is use their reason and common sense to decide what is the proper outcome. So even though all 3 witnesses in this case, we're talking about the Tory Lanez case, differ on certain things, the one thing they all do is put firing the gun in Tory's hand. And the only reasonable conclusion to come from that is that it was not Kelsey who's the one who shot that hit Meg Thee Stallion. The other thing to notice is that no one said Kelsey's the one who shot. Well, no one who testified, blog reporters, I know, said that. But Sean Kelly did say he saw a muzzle flash near Kelsey, the first one. But this is the thing. More than one person could have a shot at Megan, and both could be guilty. You remember Caesar was stabbed by his entire Senate. Kelsey being guilty first does not make Tory any less guilty. Uh, the defense of she shot first, I wanted to do it too, is not a legal defense. In court, when Kelsey was asked if Tory offered her $1 million to stay quiet, her response was something like, quote, not in those words. That's not testimony you want from the person who just testified. She doesn't remember you shooting, even though she sent a text and made an audio recording where she said she saw it very clear. So the three things these three witnesses all agree on is that the short guy shot a gun, and it's already accepted that Meg has bullets in her foot. So the only real question, that's two of the three charges right there. Let's be clear. Uh, if he pulled the trigger and she got injured, that's the negligent injury charge. If he pulled the trigger to shoot at all, he had possession. So that's the possession charge. But the hard one is the assault. The issue is intent. And the jury clearly asked. They sent a communication from the jury room that said, could you please define willful for us? And that's a question that's consistently asked in many, many trials. Look, like I said, Tory needed one piece of luck for the trial to break his way. He just needed one molehill to turn into a mountain, anything, but he didn't get that. Here's what he got instead. He got one major ruling allowing an evidence that he didn't want to come into evidence. He had a witness he liked testify to something he didn't foresee. That's Kelly. And he got a second unfavorable ruling, which was that if he testified all of his priors, his comments about Meg outside of court, the subsequent assaults, the assaults on I think it was other two people that made the news. One I think he pled to. His statements and the video purportedly of him rapping and cutting what has been reported as looking like horse meat, I guess. It appeared all of those things would be coming in if he testified. If he testified, the coffin was closed. It was nailed shut. He could not testify in this case. So, if he cannot testify, there's no reasonable self-defense. There's no testimony that it could have been self-defense. There's no testimony that the gun went off accidentally. None of those things were testified to. No one said, I saw the gun in Kelsey's hand. I saw her shoot Meg. And when you have two people, Kelsey and Meg say, no, we saw Tory shoot Meg, you needed somebody to give the alternative story because it was just too much. There's all the eyewitnesses, the mountain of evidence was against him, and there was nothing to stem the tide, nothing against to push it back, and he needed some break, and he never got it. So I hope you guys understand that's the case. Hopefully that helps. If you have any other questions, I probably left something out because I tried to run this through on Christmas Eve. But if there's anything else I could do to help you out, please let me know. I'm more than happy to talk to you about this, and I wish you the best of luck. Stay out of trouble.